A society to have order and to protect its citizens must have rules. Rules or laws are created and agencies are formed to enforce the rules. In the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. Our judicial system, our courts, have the task of determining guilt. When guilt is found, the courts mete out the consequences. If we follow the rules of our society, we may never have to face the bar of justice inside a criminal courtroom. Join us now as we see an actual Lake County court in session.
I'm Judge Miller. Could all of you, including visitors, please raise your right hands? Do each of you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this you do under the pains and penalty of perjury? Okay, you can put your hands down. Each of you has a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. When you get to the microphone, I need to know if you're under 18. I need to know if you're not a citizen of the United States. Pleading today will affect your immigration status. I need to know if you're on probation or parole because pleading today could affect your probation or parole status. If you plead today, you're giving up your right to have a trial and to have an attorney represent you at that trial. If I sentence you today on a criminal case, then you have to go down to room 105 and either pay the mandatory costs or sign up for the payment plan. Today, we're being tape recorded and videotaped. All right, we're going to start with in custodies. Okay, could I have Holly Bush to the microphone, please? This says you have an attorney, Mona Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you shouldn't be here today. Okay, well, I don't see Attorney Mona Payne, so we'll enter not guilty on your behalf, and we'll give you a court date.
Ma'am, there's no way of pleading guilty.
You want to plead today? The charge is a violation of pretrial release.
Yes, ma'am. If you look into the file.
Okay, I need you not to say anything if you have an attorney. Mr. Sandor, could you do me a favor, please, and sound the hall for Attorney
Stepdad, I
Payne?
was speaking with her this morning.
Well, we'll wait a few more minutes, but that's it then. Thank you. Holly Bush is the only one left, and her attorney still isn't back. So, Ms. Bush, I have no choice at this time but to enter a not guilty on your behalf. Your attorney can get a written plea from you later today if she wishes. Okay, so you are present. You're represented by an attorney. And you're entering a not guilty today. All right, we'll get you on another docket, and your attorney can do a written plea if you still want to plead. That's everyone over there. Alma, Carolina, Solis, Carranza. Good morning, Miss Annie.
Alma,
Her license was canceled 2 years ago because she's not a citizen. This appears to be a first offense. State, do you have some other information?
No, Your Honor, no other information.
Miss Annie, she can take the written plea, but could you advise her if she gets caught driving again without a license, it's jail?
Definitivamente va a ser encarcelamiento si la agarran otra vez manejando sin licencia. ¿Lo entiende?
Sí.
Yes.
All right.
Multa y costos de la corte.
We'll let her take the written plea.
En el primer banquillo que le doy papeles.
Lindsay McQuaig. Ms. McQuaig, you are charged with driving while license suspended. We're dismissing it. Apparently the computer was wrong, or it got changed or something, so we're dismissing that case. And then your civil charge is no proof of insurance, and that has been taken off your record also. So I will dismiss that also. So both of them are going away, just wait for your paperwork. Jesse Kelly. Mr. Kelly, you're charged with driving while license suspended. We continued your case from May for you to fix it.
Yeah, but I just had a stroke I went and paid all the payment plan so I can get my license back. And I was saving up the money to send to the insurance company, but I had a stroke, so I wasn't able to do that.
All right. Are you able to drive now?
I'm not driving, just on the right side. This leg is numb and this hand is numb and stuff. So, I can
I'm so sorry.
try to get another chance to pay that because I was working on it, but I just
Okay.
couldn't make it.
We're going to go ahead and sentence you today and leave it criminal, but we'll give you the option of paying $200 or getting a valid driver's license. So if you get your valid driver's license, you'll still have to pay the mandatory costs because we're not making it civil.
I'm not making.
It is a little noisy. All right. If you came in with a valid driver's license today, we would have changed it from a criminal charge to a civil charge. That would have saved you about $300. But you didn't come in, and we've already given you many months to fix it. So we're going to go ahead and sentence you today on driving while license suspended. The fine is $200. But I'm going to say $200 or a valid driver's license, and I'll give you 6 more months to do that. Okay. The bad news is that the mandatory costs get added to it. And those are about $300, and you'll have to go sign up for the payment plan.
Now, I got another problem. The deputy that ran my license the other day because we trying to evict some people, and
Get a little closer to the microphone, please.
they said that my license suspended for a habitual driving offender. I know it or not.
Okay, let me see what we have here. Yes, you were habitualized, but you fixed that. So you are not suspended at this moment for being habitual. You fixed that back last year.
Right. I've been.
You're suspended now for not paying a Lake County ticket and because you or your vehicle was involved in a crash and you haven't paid it off.
Right, for the judgment.
Yes.
Right, that's what I was working on now to try to get them.
Let's see.
That's the holdup. Once I paid them,
You're
then there's something.
suspended for not paying the no proof of insurance ticket.
Right, but I went over there at the payment plan and got all that fixed. But I was waiting on the judgment. I need to send the money for the judgment thing. And then I can get my license.
Miss Angie, could you run 5567 RNJ? It's a no proof of insurance. And I would like to make sure that's a withhold.
I forgot to bring the paperwork to show you.
Miss Angie's magical with the computer. She'll let us know in a moment. But I'm going to go back and withhold a finding of guilt on that. Otherwise, Tallahassee will suspend you for getting that ticket.
All I gotta do is
I already did? Okay.
All I have to do is just send the money into the judgment thing.
That looks like that's all you have to do is the judgment thing. But that sounds like a lot of money.
I called in, they said they wanted $250, but then they broke it down and said because I got hit by the car, said send them $75. But like I said, I had the stroke then, so I can send that in.
So when do you think you can send it to them?
Probably about another month and a half, something like that.
State, we don't usually wait this much time, but we don't usually have people who've had a stroke. How do you feel about giving them 2 more months? Do you think, Mr.
I believe, judging by his left arm, that he had a stroke. I'll give him the 2 months.
Well, the state won't object if I give you 2 more months. Do you think if I give you 2 more months, you'll fix it?
I have it. As long as we can clear up that other thing with the deputy said. I told him I didn't, but he's saying I did.
All right, we will give you 2 more months. You're present, defendant, that's right. But if you come back in next time, we can't keep continuing it. We're going to have to sentence you.
Oh, but Your Honor, I think this would actually be a good time to make the point that in addition to his left arm, so I believe him, Mr. Kelly seems polite and well-mannered and willing to answer your questions, which of course goes a long way toward us wanting to work with him. Had he come in here rude and unpleasant, we would not. So just a hint to everyone behind me that if you were polite,
Mr.
more
Kelly,
likely to
it's a
be
not guilty. You waive speedy trial, and we're continuing it 2 more months.
November 7th.
Oh, thank you. But if you can't do it, we're going to have to.
I hope I got everything. All right. Thank you.
Oh, I see it. You gave me a new printout, and it's right on there that he paid that one. Okay. Rosa Demos? How do you pronounce your last name? Demos. Sorry, Miss Demos. Where is your residence?
Your Honor, good morning. Actually, I just moved in April, this last April, from Illinois to Clermont, Florida.
Okay, once you moved, you had to get a Florida tag and a Florida driver's license.
I just understand that last week, and I actually doing the process. I have already the papers for the license plate and the driver license, and I have it with me, both of them.
Okay, Mr. Sandor, could you look over her paperwork, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
She hasn't gotten it yet.
I got it just.
All right, show it to Mr. Sandor. And Mr. Sandor also speaks Espanol if that's more comfortable for you to talk in Spanish. Nicholas Peters. Mr. Peters, you have been charged with driving while license suspended, and expired registration. I can tell you 2 driving while license suspended in a short time is jail time. Have you fixed your driver's license?
It's reinstated, but I don't have the hard copy yet because I've been working 10 hours a day, so I ain't had the time to go to the DMV.
All right, with your first driving while license suspended, if it's fixed, we would make it a civil. The second one is jail time because you knew you were suspended and drove anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand if you're so busy working that you don't have time to get the hard copy, then how in the world are you going to have time to do jail?
The work started picking up. I've been slow. We just started picking up more work.
Well, it's jail time. Where do you work?
What's that?
Where do you work?
I work with my girlfriend's dad.
Doing what?
Remodel work.
Well, the first one, could you look at his paperwork and see if you agree he has the paperwork to reinstate even though he hasn't gotten the hard copy? Okay, come on up.
I can vouch for working and all that. He hasn't been before the judge many times, but with him having children and all and taking care of his fiance and all that, and I know that he didn't actually, when he first drove the car, didn't know his license was suspended. He knew he had to.
And the first one will change to a civil, but the second one he knew. And so it's 5 days on the second one. If he fixed it, which the state's looking at now, we may be able to offer him the weekend work program.
Your Honor, this was the offer made to him last week. If he brought in a valid license, the first one would be reduced to a civil. The second one would be jail time because of the DUI prior. To prevent habitualization, the offer was 5
What
days.
DUI prior?
No, he's never.
No DUI.
Is this Peters?
What?
Nicholas Peters.
Nicholas Peters, no DUI.
This
Two-
first time
211?
my license has been suspended.
Okay, don't talk, please. Let Mr. Sandor finish speaking. He has 2 Dwellises, but no, okay, this says a prior DUI from last year.
I have no DUI, ma'am. This is the first time my license ever been suspended.
I can vouch for that.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson, you were looking over his paperwork. Does he have everything to reinstate?
Yes, we'd offer him a civil for the first one.
Even though he doesn't have his hard copy?
It's valid.
Okay, then what about the weekend work program?
Yes, I know. Why is that?
If he's suspended for DUI, it's 10 days in jail.
He's not, Your Honor. For some reason, under his name comes a DUI for a Casey Jaleo. Do you know that person?
Okay, so that's good news. So we'll change the first one to a civil, and the second one is 5 days or 3 weekends in the weekend work program if there's an opening and if the state agrees.
That would be fine, Your Honor.
Is there an opening?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Peters, since you've fixed it except for getting your card, if you plead to it, the first one will be changed to a civil. The second one will be 3 weekends in the weekend work program or 5 days straight. The weekend work program, you bring $20 on Saturday, you work all day, and you go home at 4 o'clock. You go back Sunday with another $20, you work all day, and you go home, you come back the following Saturday and Sunday, and then one more Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, ma'am.
Or you can do 5 days straight and get it over
Just
with.
do the weekend work program.
But each day of the weekend work program costs you $20.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we will write this up, and then you have, wait. You have an expired registration.
Actually, before we move on, so when does he start the weekend work program?
We haven't figured that out yet.
Okay, but just to be clear, if he takes the weekend work program and doesn't show up, or what would happen then?
Be 29 days suspended. If you don't show up or you don't complete the weekend work program or you get a new law violation, it's 29 days in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have to go sign up for the payment plan when you leave here.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, we have an expired registration. I sort of do remember this now. Have you fixed the registration on the 1990
The
Oldsmobile?
car's not mine, and the car's been junked
How do you know it's been junked?
They jumped.
because it's my girlfriend's car, and we called the scrapyard to come get it.
Okay. All right, I will dismiss it with a judicial warning. Don't ever drive a car that isn't properly registered and insured. Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, could you write this up for the weekend work program, and when can he begin? Wait, when can he begin?
On the 15th and 16th, Your Honor.
All right.
September 15th and 16th, and
Yes.
then the 3 weekends for 3 weekends.
All right.
All right, Miss Angie, can you write that up? The first one's civil, and the second one's 3 weekends in the weekend work program.
He doesn't.
29 days suspended. And if he doesn't pay the fine for the civil, his license gets suspended for that. Back to Rosa DeMoss. Mr. Sandor, you were going to look this one over?
Yes, Your Honor. She does have a valid Florida tag and valid Florida license at this time.
Can we change it to a civil, or did you want it to stay criminal?
A civil would be fine, Your Honor.
Okay, she's present. She waives counsel, no contest to the amended charge of civil, no tag. I'll withhold on a civil, no tag. Miss Angie will have to figure out how much that is, and there'll be $50 cost of prosecution added to it, and you have to pay it by March 5th, 2013, or your license gets suspended again.
You and I are gonna pay today.
Okay, then you had a speeding ticket.
Yes, correct.
Have you ever had a speeding ticket before in your
No, ma'am.
life? If you enter a no contest plea, I would withhold points. I withhold points on the first speeding ticket if there's no crash. There was no crash. The officer already reduced your ticket to the cheapest ticket that there is. So you must have been very polite to the officer.
I try to be polite all the time. Yes, ma'am.
And so you'll have 6 months to pay $131, and that's March, what did we say? March 5th.
Also, you and I are planning to pay it today.
Most excellent. All right, we'll get you paperwork in just a moment. Welcome to Florida.
I'll take it.
Maurice Davidson, please. And after Mr. Davidson will be Thomas Sullivan. Where's Mr. Sullivan? Slide on down. Maurice Davidson, you're charged with driving while license suspended. You've never had a driver's license.
Yes, I do, in New York.
Ah. All right, State, do you know why he was suspended out of New York?
Not off the top of my head, Your Honor.
Okay, from Suffolk County, what?
Failure to appear in April of this year, Your Honor.
No, that's not right.
Conviction, aggravated unlicensed operation, second-degree misdemeanor. Driving while ability impaired using drugs.
Sounds like a DUI.
Negative.
This says in Suffolk District Court, 2005, you were convicted of driving while using drugs. Yes?
2005.
And then you refused a chemical test in 2005. Failed to answer a summons. Are we sure there's no warrant out for him?
No.
Maurice Davidson. Mr. Davidson, it appears to me you're suspended for drugs.
For a court fine.
Well, it appears to me you're suspended for drugs. Maybe not paying the court fine for drugs.
7 years? No, it's for a court fine. I'm sorry.
Well, if you plead today, it would probably have to be jail time. Mr. Stevenson, are you willing to give him the benefit of the doubt? Since I have a printout, but I don't have the driving printout. I have the criminal printout.
Yes, so in other words, normally if a person's suspension were for a DUI or something of that nature, they would be looking at jail time.
At least 10 days.
Right, I would tend to agree, and
Okay, could you look at the record that I have and give me your opinion of it? It's on the left side under the driving record. All right, could you have a seat, Mr. Davidson, while the prosecutor looks over your record? Thomas Sullivan. Whoop. Mr. Sullivan, you are charged with... There's a capias out for your arrest because you didn't come when you were supposed to come. Were you arrested on it or turned yourself in? I gave you a break. Why didn't you come?
I actually was on my way here and my head gasket in my car blew. And I called up and a woman told me to state, fax something with, I actually got it. I faxed it to her and with the eyeglasses and everything that I was supposed to get. I got the proof that I got the eyeglasses before the court date. And yeah, I have a huge bill for my car that I'm still paying off, so.
Well, I don't have a fax. You got arrested for, how did you get out of jail?
That's what I faxed, this. I got bonded out because I had to work.
Is that, I have a letter and then I continued it to,
We did have a revocation.
okay, you sent that in March.
Yes, ma'am.
This is September. You couldn't manage to get to court on a Wednesday between March and September? This was ridiculous because the state was willing to, I think, even change it to a civil. All right, this is a driving while license suspended. You had fixed it at one point, and then you got suspended for not showing up on this case. So we can give him a clearance on this case.
Yes.
And then he can go reinstate his license.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Don't apologize to me. You're the one who has to reinstate, and there's all that money. You're the one who got arrested on failing to appear. If you plead today, it will be a $300 fine, 6 months to pay, and the mandatory costs. You had one in Hernando 2 years ago. If you get 3 in a 5-year period, Tallahassee takes your license for 5 years. Best I can tell, this is only your second.
He has one pending in Seminole as well.
After this one or before it?
After, Your Honor, just beginning of last month.
So why didn't we revoke his bond and send him to jail?
Just found out about it.
Yes? Come on up, I can't hear you. Who are you?
Thomas's aunt. And Thomas and his fiance and 2 children have just moved down to the Winter Springs area, close to his mother and I, where we can try and help them out as much as we possibly can to get them, get their heads up, straight.
There you go.
And, so if there's anything that you could do, I mean, I don't.
We were willing to help him with this.
As we were made aware of it, and between, his mother and I,
And he didn't pay.
I believe that he's going to definitely get his act together from now on. And but the $300 is going to be a very hard thing for him and us to help him with. And
Oh, it's more than 300, it's more like $600 because of the mandatory costs. We were willing when we originally had him to give him some kind of a break, but since then he's gotten another charge, the same charge again. So it's closer to 600. If he enters a no contest plea, if it was the other way around, if he had that one in Seminole then came here, it's jail. I don't know what Seminole's going to do, but right now our offer is $300, 6 months to pay, and I'm this close to saying this one should be jail.
I'll tell you.
because
He really has no choice now. So are you going to take the deal, or would you rather do straight jail time and get it over with? All right, he needs to be printed.
I gave him that.
Your Honor, we'd be ready to deal with Mr. Davidson.
Okay, you have my file. Mr. Davidson, come back, please.
Your Honor, for Mr. Davidson, it looks like he does not have a Florida license at this point, so therefore we would be offering him an adjudication of guilt, 29 days in Lake County Jail. We'd suspend that. You're not actually going to do that, as long as he just pays $200 and commits no new crimes, all within the next 6 months.
Are you pleading, Mr. Davidson, or do you want to say not guilty, get an attorney, have a trial? You are charged with driving in Florida when you do not have a Florida license and your out-of-state license is suspended. Go have a seat and think about it, although I don't know what there is to think about. Go have a seat, Mr.
Does
Davidson.
Mr. Davidson have a question? It seems that he might have a question. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be rude to Mr. Davidson. It's kind of like, while I'm the prosecutor, I can't talk to you. So I
Mr.
still have to talk
Davidson,
to
what
the
is
judge.
it?
I just want him to repeat that for me again. That's
Oh, sure. What we'd be looking for in this case is an adjudication of guilt, $200 and no new crimes. You got to pay the $200 sometime within the next 6 months. You got to commit no new crimes in the next 6 months. As
And
long
you
as you
have to
do
go-
that, that's all there is to it.
You have to go
If
to-
you don't pay the $200, or if you do pick up a new charge in the next 6 months, then you go to jail for 29 days.
guilty.
You're going to take that. Right, he needs to be printed.
Well, I think one other thing should be explained is driving while license suspended. In the state of Florida, if you pick up 3 driving while license suspended charges in 5 years, or if you pick up 3 driving while license suspended DUIs or any combination, 2 driving while license suspended, 1 DUI. If you get 3 of those within 5 years, Florida takes away your license or your ability to have a license.
Ah, it's highlighted. No wonder I couldn't find it.
Exactly.
Okay, we have a deal?
Yeah.
And did I give you the print sheet? Okay, we'll print you.